Welcome everyone to this episode of Race Review. So before I get into the actual video itself, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has submitted replays. I've had loads submitted. However, I have been really busy lately, as you might have guessed from the lower amount of uploads. If you have submitted a replay, I will get around and watch it and check it out at some point. I'm not going to guarantee that I can use all of them, but if there is one that I think will work well for a video, I will get around to it and I will use it. So just say thank you to everyone. There's been a really good response, so do keep on sending in any, if you have, a replay that you think there's something you want to improve on, or there's something that you could learn, then do keep sending it in, and I will slowly get through them. Okay, so let's get into today's review. It's going to be a fairly short one. We're actually looking at Base Maestro. He is DRB and SRS, and he is racing. This is actually a lobby race that he was in the SLS GT3, and it's a one-make race at Monza. And his question was about defending, what's sort of aggressive defensive lines, what's kind of too much, and what's acceptable as far as defending, I suppose. So he's qualified in third, pretty good place to qualify, and so far so good as we come around to the end of lap one. And one of the things he said was that he was losing places to other people. He felt like he was losing too many positions in defensive situations. So we're going to skip ahead to the first overtaking place. So you can already see that he's lost a little bit of ground to second place. Okay, so we're going to see he loses his first two positions here, coming round Ascari, I think it's called here, at the end of lap 2. And he's just going to lose the back end of the car coming on the exit there, and obviously you're going to get a rubbish exit speed, and he's going to lose third and fourth place, so he's going to go down to fifth position. So it's interesting that we're talking about defending on a track like Monza, because on Monza you can make your passes actually by just being really patient. You can use the very long straights to get a good draft, especially in cars with a large amount of downforce. They're going to create a bigger drag effect, so you can really use that slipstream, get up alongside your opponents, and then beat them into the braking, into the corners. So you don't ever really need to challenge people mid-corner. And as you can see, he's just going to lose the car on the exit. My biggest advice for holding positions on Monza is to ensure that you get a really good exit. So make sure you're not going to be making any mistakes on the exit, and to do that, you want to use this bit of track here, the sort of the lead up to the exit of the corner, to get your car sorted, make sure it's settled, make sure you're not losing the back end, get the car nice and stable, and then get a smooth, fast exit. Even if you come into this corner a little bit sloppy, a little bit choppy, maybe you run a little bit wide, onto the green section out there, it's not the end of the world. As long as you can sort the car out, get it settled, and then exit really quickly, that's the most important thing. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. So Base Maestro's managed to sort of catch up to fourth place. And actually what's interesting here is user ID, that guy who's in front of him, is actually going to do quite a nice defensive line. So we're coming through Lesmo 1 here, and this is exactly the same with all the other corners in Monza. You want good exit speed. The entry speed is much less important, and what he's going to do, he's just going to coast fairly slowly into the corner entry. And what that does is, there's no way for you to get past him here, so that's going to force Base Maestro to slow down. But it also means that user ID, because he's gone in fairly nice and slowly, he can get the perfect exit. You're following, it's quite tricky to predict someone, especially when they're kind of going fairly slowly into the corner. But he's going to get a smashing exit, and the only way you're going to be able to keep up with him if you match his exit perfectly. He's going to do a nice job of defending this. As I play it through, you'll see what I mean. So he's going to go fairly slowly, and then he's going to exit nicely. But because you're kind of in that dirty air following, it's going to be a little trickier to get as good as an exit speed as he is. So the next position that we're going to see lost is 6th position to Major Blixham. And you've actually got two choices. So again, the reason the position was lost was a fairly poor exit. And at this point here, you've got a decision to make. So he's coming up behind you. You can either basically take the line on the left-hand side, or you can take the line on the right-hand side. So you're still in the advantageous position. You can see he's coming up behind you. You need to decide, right, I've got this tight right-hander followed by a long straight coming up. Do I want to defend the position down the inside, or do I want the outside line? And it's a tricky one, because The issue here is you've got another long straight immediately after. So if you defend the position successfully, he's then going to be in the draft coming down into the tight chicane, and he may then retake the position. So it may be that you choose to let him pass so that you can then repass going into the chicane. So it is a tricky one. We'll see how it pans out. So Major Blixen takes a position, and then Base Maestro just doesn't quite get the exit right here. You can see oversteering going into the grass a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. Manages to save it. Using the draft, Base Maestro has actually managed to then retake that position. However, going into the chicane, you're just not quite going to assert enough here, I feel like. You can really get in front of that and defend that line a bit more. So successfully made the pass down into the tight chicane, and this is good. Currently there's a bit of an overlap, so you're going to still need to be giving him space as you come around the right hand side. But as we play it forwards, at this stage you've actually managed to clear him, so he's had to back right off going around the outside of the corner. What I would suggest is actually bringing your car into this space here. It's just going to mean that he can't get a particularly good exit. Your car is going to be right on the racing line, and you're going to be exiting as smoothly as you can. And even if he gets a better exit than you, he's not going to be able to go anywhere because you're going to be placed right on that driving line. You're almost being too kind to him here. So by going round and giving him space all the way around here, he's going to be able to take the slightly quicker line across the apex and get a pretty good exit speed. To be fair, the position is held, but you can see Major Blixen just gets a pretty good exit, almost manages to regain an overlap. But you can just really put your car in the way onto the racing line, and that'll, I think, solve an issue there. So this next section we're going to look at is coming down into the second tight chicane. And this is one where you just need to be aware of what your opponents are doing. So in this situation, if he wasn't going to plan on making a move, he'd just have his car right in behind you. There's no point being on the inside if you're not planning to make a move, because you're just going to get a really slow exit. So the fact that he's put his car here means that he's looking to make a move down the inside. He's looking to brake a little bit later, get his car alongside yours and force you to the outside. So as we watch it through, knowing that he's going to go down the inside, you might just want to brake slightly later. That makes sure that he can't get any overlap on your car, and you're going to be able to make it nice and cleanly. As it happens, there's a little bit of contact. However, Base Maestro does manage to keep the position. Coming up to Lesmo 2, this is a really important place to get a good exit, and this is another one where it is tricky to follow people through here quickly. You've got to set your own pace. Don't let the person behind you push you into the corner too fast. Enter it at your own speed, nice and slowly. Do whatever you need to do to get this corner perfectly lined up, and then get a killer exit, and it is going to be much, much harder for them to match your exit. Unless they're really, really good. You know, some people are very good at following people closely, but 9 times out of 10, if you just have a nice and relaxed entry with a bomber exit, that's going to at least give you a cushion coming down onto the next straight. However, Base Maestro is kind of going to get the pressure put on him. Doesn't quite get the exit right, as you can see. Doesn't use most of the track. Doesn't get a particularly quick exit. And Major Blixen's going to actually come alongside pretty rapidly here. So as we come down into Ascari, you've seen there's a little bit of bumping going on. And actually, you've taken the right line. From this position, you do want to squeeze him. You're doing a pretty good job of keeping him nice and far over. If you can, you want to be, even a little bit further over where this blue square is, just so you're maximising your track position. Obviously, you need to leave him with a bit of space, but as far over as you can. And on the inside line, you should really be holding this position. So as we come in here, you can see Major Blixen's just braked slightly later than Base Maestro. If Base Maestro had braked a little bit later than Major Blixen, his car would have been coming out here. That would have forced Major Blixen's car all the way around the outside of this corner, which is going to make him lose a lot of time. And Base Maestro should have the higher speed to then be able to link it up with the apex of the next corner and force Major Blixen in behind. But because he's braked a little bit later, he's managed to get his car in the advantageous position, and then he can basically just come right across onto the racing line, and there's nowhere for you to go after that. Coming into the first chicane then, didn't quite go to plan, a little bit of contact. not too great. And what you're going to see now is Grandpa's Money, brilliant name, is going to make the overtake as well. And just behind him is Harry Rowley. So this here is a position that definitely didn't need to be lost. Again, just being a little bit more assertive with your line. You need to be quick. If we just play it forwards. So at this point here, I'm just going to pause it right there. So Grandpa's Money's made the pass. He had a slightly better exit speed. Harry Rowley is just about to make a pass as well. He's got a bit of exit speed. You need to take this opportunity at this exact moment. Base Maestro should tuck into the slipstream of Grandpa's Money. Harry Rowley is not going that much faster than him, but he's in the slipstream of Grandpa's Money. So all Base Maestro has to do at this exact moment is just tuck into the slipstream here. That's going to, A, increase his acceleration because he's now into the slipstream, and is also just going to mean that Harry Rowley can't go anywhere unless he wants to go round the outside, which is very unlikely. But doesn't take the opportunity to get the slipstream. Harry Rowley's in the slipstream all the time. You can see it's going to just give him enough speed, and he's down the inside to make the pass. So that was definitely a position that if you had just taken the opportunity to tuck into the slipstream at just the right moment, it would have really helped you there. So I hope you guys found this video useful. Base Maestro finishes in 6th position in the end, so a reasonably good effort, although, as he said, disappointing to go down from 3rd to 6th. Just remember that Base Maestro has submitted their lap for critique, and so that they can help get better at the game, and so you guys can help get better at the game, so please do be respectful in the comments. And don't forget that if you want to submit a replay of your own, you just need to share it on GT Sport with the tags oink83, and I will be able to then find it. I'll see you in the next one.